This evening, first, the government pushes back. Attorney General Anil Nandlall says the law is settled after a magistrate dismissed renewed defense arguments in the Mohamed extradition case. Why the government insists the proceedings must now move forward, and why it says fresh legal claims are nothing more than delay tactics. Plus, pressure mounts on wages. APNU calls for a minimum 25% pay hike for public servants, arguing rising living costs and trillion-dollar revenues demand urgent action. Is the government doing enough to ease household strain? Also, a strong message to business. At the GCCI's annual award, the tourism minister pledges continued support for the private sector, highlighting new investment opportunities in tourism, manufacturing, and the creative economy. And tonight, Guyana mourns. The nation says farewell to broadcasting and cultural legend Ron Robertson, a towering figure whose voice, vision, and mentorship shaped generations. Internationally, families in South Africa plead for the return of loved ones allegedly lured into Russia's war in Ukraine. Those stories and more straight ahead. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for December 12, 2025. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlall says the government remains firmly guided by established law and international obligations, following Magistrate Judy Latchman's decision on Wednesday to dismiss renewed legal arguments in the extradition case involving the Mohameds. In an interview with the newsroom, Nandlall said the ruling should come as no surprise, noting that the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and other superior courts have already settled every issue raised by the defense.
No one ought to be surprised. The law in this area is quite settled now and is quite straightforward. So I am not at all surprised that the magistrate ruled the way that the magistrate did.
He added that the lower courts must follow precedents and the magistrate correctly apply the law. While the defense plans to take the matter to the High Court, Nandlall described the move as a tactic to prolong the case, stressing that filing an appeal does not halt the proceedings unless a specific court order is issued, and none has been issued. He also dismissed a new defense claim that the Home Affairs Minister's authority to proceed document is defective, calling it an invented argument intended to delay the extradition hearing. Nandlall said the form used is the standard template from the Fugitive Offender Act. The formal hearing is set for January 6th and 8, 2026, when documents from the United States, including the diplomatic note requested by the defense, will be tendered. Nandlall noted that Guyana provided the diplomatic note in good faith, even though it was not legally required to do so. He said diplomatic notes are internationally accepted tools for formal communication, especially in extradition cases that require urgent clarity. With the magistrate labeling previous constitutional challenges as frivolous and vexatious, Nandlall said the extradition case must now continue without further obstruction. In other news, a Partnership for National Unity is calling on the government to grant public servants a minimum of 25% wage increase, arguing that rising living costs and widening income inequality demand urgent attention. The party says senior government officials earn vastly more than ordinary public servants, despite rapid national revenue growth driven by Guyana's expanding oil sector. In a press statement issued today, citing projected 2025 government revenues of more than $1 trillion, APNU says the proposed 8% wage increase is unacceptable and that a substantial adjustment is both justified and affordable. The party added that higher wages would restore purchasing power, boost the economy, and help retain skilled workers. APNU also highlighted growing frustrations among young people, including high living costs, underemployment, and concerns about fairness and transparency in job opportunities and government spending. The party is urging the adoption of evidence-based measures to support youth, improve services, and ensure equitable benefits from the oil economy. Additionally, APNU criticized the government for failing to deliver on its promised year-end cash transfer to citizens, calling the delay disrespectful and demanding immediate clarity. They added that the recent protests on December 8 underscore public dissatisfaction and their commitment to holding the government accountable. Moving on, Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa visited the Meadowbank Wharf early this morning to meet with fisherfolk and outline ongoing plans to modernize the key landing facility further. Minister Mustafa reaffirmed the government's commitment to improving Ghana's fisheries infrastructure, noting that millions have already been invested to enhance the wharf's appearance and expand essential amenities. Recent upgrades include new sheds, additional water points, improved security, and expanded stalls for vendors and traders. He emphasized that these improvements are part of President Dr. Mohamed Irfanali's broader mandate to strengthen agricultural and fisheries infrastructure across the country. Over the past 5 years, the government has pursued a series of strategic initiatives within the fisheries sector, including the deployment of vessel monitoring systems, tighter enforcement against illegal fishing, and the expansion of both landing and processing facilities. Minister Mustafa said these efforts are designed to boost productivity, promote sustainability, and create greater economic opportunities for fisherfolk who depend on the Meadowbank Wharf and other facilities nationwide. Stick around when we return. Rodriguez reaffirmed government support for private sector at GCCI Gala, and veteran broadcaster and cultural icon Ron Robertson passes away.
The most wonderful time of the year, and we're celebrating with big savings on smartphones, starting as low as $16,500 for the Samsung A06 and $26,500 for the Samsung A16 and $40,500 for the A26. But wait, there's more. Get 1 month free data with your new phone to keep you close to loved ones near and far. Offer available while stocks last. Visit a Digicel store today and unwrap the gift of real connections. Digicel.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Copy flaws make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Check us out at Decor and Gift Gallery this Christmas holiday for all your shopping needs. We are located at 47 Craig and Sheriff Street, Campbellville, Georgetown.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road, Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Susan Rodriguez, has reiterated the government's strong commitment to fostering a business-friendly environment, telling the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GCCI, that the government remains fully supportive of all private sector bodies. She delivered the remarks on Thursday evening at the GCCI's 136th award presentation and gala dinner at the Marriott Hotel. Minister Rodriguez highlighted the government's track record of incentivizing investment, supporting micro and small enterprises, and encouraging business expansion through targeted policy measures. She noted strong collaboration between the ministry and the chamber, including tourism's inclusion and the Green Economy Committee and GCCI's continued role in Gaia Expo. Pointing to significant economic gains achieved over the last 5 years, the minister said the government is focused on removing barriers and unlocking new investment opportunities. These include recent expressions of interest for eco-lodges and tourism ventures, as well as growth prospects in the creative orange economy. She further announced the rollout of the National Standardization Strategy 2026-2028, which will strengthen institutional frameworks, support trade, and promote environmental responsibility. Rodriguez said the private sector is well positioned to benefit from Guyana's rapidly expanding tourism and business landscape, adding that the next 5 years will bring tangible opportunities across all sectors. Minister Onij Waldron and Zulfikar Ali also addressed the event. Guyana is mourning the passing of Ronald "Ron" Robertson, one of the nation's most celebrated broadcasters and cultural figures who died early on Wednesday morning at his home after a prolonged illness. He was 79. Robertson, whose career spanned nearly 6 decades, was honored earlier this year with a Lifetime Achievement Award from President Dr. Mohamed for his outstanding contribution to broadcasting and the arts. In a Facebook post on May 5th, he reflected on his journey, writing that it had been a pleasure and privilege to serve thousands since beginning his career almost 60 years ago. Beyond broadcasting, Robertson was a towering figure in Guyanese theater, known as an actor, director, and mentor, whose influence shaped generations. His contributions extended to community service, including work with NGOs and the Scout movement. He was also a respected motorsport leader, serving 3 terms as president of the Guyana Motor Racing and Sports Club between 1991 and 2004. His leadership brought renewed direction and professionalism to the organization. Tributes from broadcasting, theater, and motorsport committees describe Robertson as a titan of culture whose legacy will continue to inspire Guyana, the Caribbean, and the diaspora. Ron Robertson's passing marks the end of an era, but the path he carved in broadcasting, theater, and national service will remain a beacon for all who follow. His life's work stands as a testament to excellence, integrity, and passion. Don't go away after the break. M23 advances in South Kivu. More than 400 civilians killed and U.S. political divide. Deep wounds remain from the longest ever government shutdown.
This Christmas runs on real connections with Digicel. The calls, the laughter, the joy, and the chance to pick and win big. We're giving away $12 million. Yes, every week, one lucky Digicel customer gets a chance to win up to $2 million. 6 lucky winners in total. Here's how you get in. Top up with $1,000 or more, or pay your fiber or postpaid bill in full. The more you top up, the more chances you get. Stay connected this Christmas for your chance to win big. Digicel.
Check us out at Decor and Gift Gallery this Christmas holiday for all your shopping needs. We are located at 47 Craig and Sheriff Street, Campbellville, Georgetown.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Dominic Gittins. Tonight, Antigua and Barbuda moves to waive CXC exam fees and refund parents. Washington reels after America's longest government shutdown. Congolese citizen fled renewed fighting into Burundi, and South African family pleads for the return of their relatives sent to fight in Ukraine. We begin in Antigua and Barbuda. The Antigua and Barbuda government will waive CXC examination fees and refund parents who already paid, Education Minister Darrell Matthew announced. The state will cover the $1.25 million EC dollars annual cost. Matthew also removed entry barriers at ABCAS and unveiled a new pathway to the UWI-5 Islands campus. The fight in Congress over healthcare subsidies triggered America's longest shutdown. It exposed divisions in both major political parties. Republicans and Democrats are still angry at how their leadership handled the crisis. Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher reports.
She was a leading figure in the MAGA movement, one of Donald Trump's loudest loyalists.
What they've been doing to President Trump is political persecution.
But when Marjorie Taylor Greene announced she was leaving Congress, she'd become one of his biggest antagonists.
Loyalty should be a two-way street.
It's the most public split in the MAGA movement, grounded, she says, in concern about leaving ordinary people behind, making things too expensive, initially blocking the release of the Epstein files, a president ignoring the base who got him elected, but who had firmly controlled his party.
Clearly, people have not divested from the MAGA movement en masse, but I do think she is signaling that people see him as weakening.
So trouble for the Republicans and the MAGA movement should be good for the Democrats, right? Well, this is Washington, and things don't always work out that way. There's been a lot of internal complaining since the presidential election loss a year ago, but it came to a head with the longest US government shutdown in history. A handful of Democrats voted with Republicans to end the closure, effectively abandoning the party's position on restoring healthcare subsidies, putting the divisions over this and how the leadership should challenge Trump on public show.
I think a lot of people finally said, you know, the Democrats just don't seem ready for prime time. They don't have any fight in them. And Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are just not up to it.
Politics in America is currently very sharply divided, but even these public inter-party splits are surprising.
It's the Trump effect, right? You know, he's like a giant wrecking ball that leaves, to waste the entire political system, whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans.
And with midterm elections a year away, a high-stakes presidential on the horizon, it's something both sides need to get a grip of quickly.
I think the Democrats, it favors them more because whoever their nominee is going to be next time out, they hate the idea of, continued Republican rule so much that they will rally behind whoever the nominee is.
Elon Musk has talked about setting up a new party. Many have in the past, but struggled to pull support from the big two. The big two that will become more united the closer to important elections, or at least appear to be. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, Washington.
As the M23 rebel approached Uvira, many residents fled to neighboring Burundi. Aid organizations there said they are stretched, with hundreds of Congolese arriving at already overcrowded refugee camps. Food is scarce and access to water is limited. Al Jazeera's Charles Stratford reports.
Carrying what few belongings they can, more people are forced to flee across the border of Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo amid an upsurge of fighting that threatens to derail a US-brokered peace deal just days after it was signed. The sound of gunfire around the town of Uvira, near the border with Burundi, caused panic as many people rushed to leave. Fighters with the M23 rebel group could be seen marching into town on Thursday. The body of a dead DRC soldier marked their path. The conditions in already overcrowded refugee camps are dire.
There is no access to drinking water or sanitation. The situation is very bad. A large influx of Congolese men, women and children have overwhelmed the area, yet there are no toilets. Conditions are unhygienic and hazardous. Human waste is scattered in the nearby bushes. This is catastrophic and people's lives remain at constant risk.
I haven't eaten since the day before yesterday. I felt an overwhelming urge to find my children. I don't even know if they're still alive, and I pray that someone will help me reunite with them.
The M23 rebels' advance and their taking of Uvira, an important base for the Congolese army, has triggered fears that fighting could spread further south along the banks of Lake Tanganyika. Rwanda's leader, Paul Kagame, has long denied his country supports the M23 rebels that have for years been fighting the DRC army and other local groups for control of this highly mineral-rich region. The latest upsurge in violence comes despite a US-mediated peace agreement being signed last week by the presidents of DRC and Rwanda in Washington, D.C. But the accord did not include M23 rebels who are negotiating separately with the DRC. Both sides accuse each other of repeatedly violating a ceasefire they signed earlier this year. The ethnically complicated conflict has its roots in the 1994 Rwanda genocide, when Hutu militias targeted the country's Tutsi minority in an ethnic cleansing campaign that killed up to 1 million people. M23 is led by Tutsis who say they are trying to protect their ethnic group. Thousands of civilians have been killed. The UN says the resurgence in fighting over the last week alone has forced 500,000 people to flee. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera.
The families of several South Africans allegedly deceived into joining the Russian army are pleading for their safe return. They say their loved ones are stranded on the front lines in Ukraine. The appeal coincides with the recent arrest of more men who were headed for Moscow. Al Jazeera Michael Appel reports.
4 South African men appear in court accused of trying to fly to Moscow to join the Russian army. The fifth in the dock, a prominent South African journalist, is alleged to have recruited them. They're charged with contravening the Foreign Military Assistance Act. It's a law making it illegal for South Africans to fight in conflicts for foreign armies. Their arrest comes a week after the daughter of former South African President Jacob Zuma quit as a member of parliament. Duduzile Zuma Sambudla is under investigation for allegedly trafficking up to 20 men to fight for Russia in Ukraine, something she denies. Police say the 2 cases aren't linked for now.
The case against Duduzile Zuma is a separate case, but we don't rule out the possibility that most probably as the investigation continues, these 2 cases might verge.
Almost 4 years into its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Russia's military, which has sustained heavy casualties, is seeking recruits abroad to bolster its ranks. Videos like these call on South Africans between 18 and 60 to sign up by flying to Russia as fake tourists. This man's identity is hidden at his request over safety concerns. His family member is one of the 17 South Africans trapped in Ukraine after being told they were going to Russia for bodyguard training. He holds Zuma Sambudla and the MK party responsible.
They are the one who brought them there. She stepped down to protect the party, nothing else. I barely sleep at night, thinking of my brother. Right now, it's been 4 days now without talking to him.
He's appealing for government intervention to secure their return, while warning other South Africans of the danger of similar schemes.
South Africa has two things in great number: high levels of poverty and large numbers of unemployed military-aged men. And the families of those now trapped on Ukraine's front lines say there's also no shortage of people willing to profit from sending naive and desperate men to war. Mike Lappel, Al Jazeera, in Eshowe, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa.
Thanks, Dominic. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it to be 2 headline news for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We will be off for the weekend, but you can tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other, and do have a wonderful weekend.